So thank you so much for making it all the way out here to Caesars Forum. I'm Christine Henley. I lead our worldwide channel and go-to-market programs inside of our AWS Partner organization, and I'm based out of Seattle, Washington.
And I'm Dave Gervon. I lead our worldwide SMB Partner go-to-market strategy.
Awesome. We're here today to talk to you a little bit about accelerating your customer engagement and revenue growth with AWS and our partner programs. So we're really excited to share some best practices with you, as well as some new launch announcements from this year.
Before we get started, by show of hands, how many of you are SIs or services partners out there?
Nice. And how many of you are ISVs or independent software vendors? Very great. Good to see a mix.
Do we have any distributors in the house?
Hey,
a couple of you as well.
Nice.
Looking good.
Telcos? Any telcos? Have to ask?
Telcos.
Okay. All right. Next time.
And then what about segment-wise? Who sells here to SMBs and startups?
Nice.
Looking good, looking good.
Mid-market and enterprises. Very good. Okay. Excellent. And who here has an AWS competency? Nice. Great to see.
And what about those of you that are striving to get your first AWS competency? Love to see that. Love to see that.
Thank you for being here. So great to know a little bit more about you, and we're really excited to share some content. We have content here for SIs and ISVs, for competency partners, and those that are just starting out, so you're in the right place. So one thing we do want to talk quite a bit in this session is how to engage with customers who are new to AWS or just starting on their journey to AWS. And why is that important? There's a huge opportunity there. I know that when partners work with AWS, they often think about, hey, AWS has relationships with a number of customers and they can introduce me, and that is very true, and there's a great co-sell opportunity there. But what is really compelling as well is we have a number of different programs, resources, and selling models available to you to actually help you engage with customers who have yet to embark on their AWS journey, and there is a really big market opportunity moving right now. In fact, IDC projects that the public cloud services spend will reach $1.35 trillion by 2027, and only about 85% of this global IT spend is currently in the cloud. So over the next 3 to 4 years, we really expect to see such an adoption wave of cloud, and this is critical for our partners and for AWS with our partners, because we know that 72% of customers are influenced by partners when making their IT decisions. So this is a key reason why we see such a great joint opportunity together to work with these customers and help them understand how AWS can deliver business outcomes for their practices. So what are some of those ways that AWS can help you when we may not even have a relationship with that customer yet? The first thing I wanted to highlight is that in this arena of new to AWS customer engagement, we really follow a partner-centric sales motion. We strive to have a partner in every single one of our customer deals if the customer is new or just starting on their AWS journey. So there's a huge opportunity, especially for those partners still building up their AWS practice, to build a very close partnership with our own AWS go-to-market sales and marketing teams in this space. The second is that joint go-to-market proposition. So we do a lot of strategic planning, and here's an opportunity to form a better together story. So you may have a relationship with this customer already, and together we can strategize around what's the best joint offering or the best way to approach. Or we might embark on a new market event or a roundtable for CXOs that will garner interest in our products. So there's a really big opportunity to be strategic and to come even early in the year and think together about the art of the possible here. The third reason is we have such a broad and diverse partner network, as you saw from the raised hands in the room today, and I'm sure from this conference. And so there's such a big opportunity to lean on each other and to work together, to co-build solutions, to share customer relationships. And that is a really big superpower of working with AWS and our APN. We also offer differentiation and certifications for partners. So we mentioned competencies, and there's other programs as well that will help you stand out to customers in this space. And finally, we have partner programs and incentives specially designed to help partners to go to market with new to AWS customers. So we really see a big growth opportunity here together. But we need to be strategic, as I mentioned, and so we wanted to share some of those best practices to start your planning here today.
So, as we started out today, and the title of the the presentation here, we're trying to get new customers, accelerate their growth to the cloud, retain those customers and grow those customers. Right? But to do this, we really need to have a go-to-market plan that's together and focused on where we want to sell. So when we want to start here, we start with our target customer. And the way to do this is we analyze what's our existing customer base. Who are we selling to today? It's a great starting point to say, okay, I sell to this type of customer. Do I sell to AWS to this type of customer yet? If not, how do I do that? If so, how do I sell more to that customer? Then you look a little bit further into the future. And then we can say, who else do I want to sell to? Maybe it's a new vertical, maybe it's into a new geographic region, etc. And then which products in your portfolio and AWS's portfolio are the best points of entry? For instance, in small and medium business, that might be a SaaS offering to get there in the door to try out the cloud, right? Or in enterprise, it could be a larger proof of concept. Next is the team. Do you have a team assembled to specifically focus on that target customer? We've seen many times from partners where they put a sales team together, they know how to sell AWS, they're ready to go, but they're allowed to sell to anyone. And we all know when you're allowed to sell to anyone, you gradually just focus up market to the bigger sales deals. So if you want to focus on SMB and you want to focus on enterprise, you should really have two different sales teams focused on SMB and enterprise. The same with our other segments as well. And then you go a little bit further into that. Do I have sellers that are focused on new customer acquisition? Do I have sellers focused on the growth? Do I have sellers that can take a customer from brand new through growth and keep them with the partner yourself in perpetuity? And then it comes to the sales plan. Do you have the right enablement materials for your team? Are your pre-sales people ready? Are your post-sales delivery ready? Is everyone ready to really go all in and sell AWS together? Because we can get a customer interested, but once they're ready to buy, if we can't deliver, we have a gap there. And we're going to talk a little bit further about that. And then incentivization. How many people in here are either salespeople today or former salespeople? I'm a former salesperson myself, and we know what drives salespeople. It's the money, right? So are you prepared to incentivize your sellers to sell to these specific customer types at the specific stages of the customer journey? And when I say stages, meaning, are you incentivized to get the new customer? Are you incentivized to keep the new customer? And are you incentivized to grow the new customer maybe over 12, 24, 36 months? Now, once you have the answers to all of these questions here, document them using our new business planning feature. It's in AWS Partner Central, and you can share them with AWS as well. So we talked a little bit about planning. Now we're going to talk about that journey that we spoke about as well. And here up on the screen here, you see a 4-phase strategy, for meeting customers where they are on their path to the AWS cloud, also many times referenced as their cloud journey. First, we're going to introduce the customer to AWS. And when we say introduce to AWS, it's not a like, hey, do you know AWS? Here's our hundreds of different services. Pick one, right? That's not going to work for any of us, and we all know that if you've tried it, right? We want to really dive in and find out what's that customer looking for? What are their business pain points? What are their business objectives? And then figure out which portion of AWS do we want to introduce them to. Once we get them interested, maybe we do a little proof of concept on maybe they're interested in disaster recovery, so we do a disaster recovery proof of concept, something along those lines. Then we move into the first real project. While a proof of concept is a project, when we say first project, this is more of a production environment, something that you're not testing out anymore. When we get into that first project, that's when you'll start to migrate. You may modernize. It may be a data plan to get to being ready for AI, things like that. As we go through the first project, we do overcome hurdles, obstacles, blockers, which we'll talk about a little bit further in this presentation. Once we get through that first project, It's time to deliver. Now, if you take it back a slide or so, when I talked about, do you have the right teams in place? We need pre-sales, we need sales, and we need post-sales. We need that delivery arm. And not only a delivery arm that can get the job done, we need someone that the customer can come back to say, hey, this isn't right, or how do I do more? What's the delivery structure for that? Now, once we deliver, we've delighted our customers, we've earned their trust, we're going to go back and we're going to grow that customer. We're going to keep that customer with you, the partner. You will be their trusted advisor, and you'll be able to take them further alongside of AWS's pace of innovation.
Absolutely. So this is how we think about the customer sales cycle here at AWS. And just like Dave mentioned, what's really impactful for our partners is when they understand what we just described as we go to market, and they're able to articulate back to us, even if you don't follow the exact same methodologies, but you can help us bridge between our sales teams and your sales teams, and that's where we can start to develop a really deep go-to-market relationship. So I wanted to share in this introduction to AWS phase, what are some of the best practices we see and what does AWS programs and services look like in this space? So the first focus of this phase is driving customer awareness at scale or one-to-one in the large enterprise space. Here we offer AWS marketing and events. We have regional summits. We have different types of events that we hold by competency area as well in different regions. And for partners to provide their own marketing and go-to-market support, we provide marketing development funding, competencies, and certifications. In this driving awareness space, as Dave mentioned, it's absolutely critical that you're thinking about what are those broad customer pain points or growth objectives that we can message around. And then we'll start to generate demand for those specific partner offers. So I wanted to highlight our top 5, what we call points of entry when we are driving demand and generating pipeline. The first that we're seeing today is, of course, generative AI. And even in that new to AWS customer space, not only is generative AI opening doors, but what's key as this conversation is you quickly get into the data story. So what are the business objectives of this customer? And then where are they storing their data? How are they storing their data? How are they protecting that data? How are they organizing it in such a way that they could then use AI and ML to get those business insights that they're looking for? Once you're inside that conversation, quickly cloud becomes a really strong option for that customer. The second one we're seeing is security, which is top of mind for everyone, including very small businesses who are actually very often victims of those cybersecurity attacks. So across all of our customers, we find that starting with a very strong security message is key, and that's a key reason that customers enjoy moving to cloud is getting to take advantage of those certifications that AWS brings. When they start to move, a lot of times they're looking at migrating an existing workload, and increasingly we see more and more customers interested in modernizing their infrastructure at that same time as migration. We can do it either way, and we see partners and customers have success in either path, migrating and then modernizing, or modernizing as you go. But I would say increasingly we do see that trend of customers saying, look, I've been living with this infrastructure for a while. I really want to achieve those business outcomes faster. Let's design an architecture that's going to make sense in the cloud from the beginning. And so increasingly we're updating our partner programs, including our migration program, to really recognize that modernization efforts. We'll talk a little bit more in depth about some of the migration program changes later. Fourth is that industry relevance. So recently, AWS, we've verticalized our sales teams, and again, that's a trend I'm seeing across our partners as well. Customers are always very interested to hear about other businesses in their same and similar verticals. And so whether you have verticalized solutions or not, we really recommend that you use a verticalized point of entry or verticalized marketing message. So even if it's a databases solution or a backup and recovery solution, but sharing with the customer examples of how others in manufacturing or in healthcare use that solution for their own business outcomes, and we see that resonate much more with that customer. And finally, I wanted to highlight a really big trend we're seeing in this shift to SaaS. It's huge for our ISVs in the room, I'm sure you're aware. For our channel partners, there's a big opportunity to co-sell with our ISV partners. But I also wanted to highlight that what we're seeing is very interesting. We see customers themselves increasingly interested to SaaSify their own products, and they're looking for partners who will help them on that journey of building SaaS or turning what they use to serve their own customers into a SaaS-like app or product. So that's been a very interesting trend. So I highlighted that one thing AWS can offer to you are specializations, especially in the form of competencies. There's a few reasons these are so important, and the first is getting that notice from the customer. We do see that 83% of customers use specializations to guide their partner selection process. And our partners who hold at least one AWS specialization realize a 54% faster close rate on their pipeline. So having that expertise really helps you not just stand out, but also for your teams to deliver on that message. And we have a few ways to help our partners who have specializations promote their offerings and solutions. The first is, of course, on our competency pages themselves. And I think what's really interesting about gaining those competencies is you get introduced into the specialized team within AWS who works in that vertical or on that horizontal solution as well. So that's a really exciting partnership to build out. Another way is through our AWS Marketplace, where we help promote offerings that have a particular specialization and help customers who are searching for those types of products identify both software offers and consulting offers faster. And we'll talk a little bit about now we have a managed services badge as well. So it really helps you differentiate your offering in our marketplace. For those that have industry-focused solutions, we do have an AWS Solutions Library. We can help you publish into that library. That will help both our internal sellers and our external customers find your solution. And finally, we offer AWS go-to-market packages, primarily internally for our sellers and our marketing team. By having those specializations, we'll put your offers into those packages we build to drive internal awareness. And then also, again, as we put marketing messages out to customers, we feature partners who hold relevant certified solutions. Earlier this year, we launched a new competency I did want to highlight today, the small and medium business competency. A huge thank you to the partners in the room that already have this competency. One of the reasons I wanted to highlight it is the main focus of this competency is actually to help you go to market with a target customer audience, small and medium businesses. So not only does it offer that differentiation, but you do get connected to a global SMB strategy team, as well as our local and regional SMB-focused sales and marketing teams. And we input your offers into our scale demand generation efforts. So this is just one example. There's many more competencies by industry, by horizontal solution. Yes, we have a Gen AI competency, but I really wanted to highlight the success we're seeing. In fact, just since we launched this SMB competency earlier this year, we're already at over 60 partners worldwide in that competency. And this year, our data showed that those partners grew their AWS SMB business by 33 percentage points more than similar partners who did not have the competency. CrowdStrike shared with us that this competency has really helped them to rethink their approach to SMB and specifically how they can scale out to thousands of customers. So we'd really love to see it, and that's the type of joint go-to-market approach we really like to have with our partners. In fact, this success has led us to launch a new initiative coming soon.
So I'm really excited to bring to you the Small Business Acceleration Initiative. So again, by show of hands, who sells into SMB? By show of hands again, who's ready to sell into SMB that maybe hasn't gone into this market before? We got a few. Anyway, starting January 1st, we're doubling down on reaching SMB customers together with our partners. And we're launching this Small Business Acceleration Initiative. It's the first partner-led channel sales motion at AWS. This will introduce a new position called an AWS Partner Territory Manager. This Partner Territory Manager will act as the general manager of their territory and work exclusively with partners to sell to the customers. Our goal is to have 100% partner attached to all of these customers in small business. We're investing in our partners to accelerate them on their cloud journey. Now for me, small business is where I've lived for a long time. I started in small business at a very young age. My family owned a shoe store in Bristol, Pennsylvania, if any of you ever heard of it, from 1933 to 2007. So I'm very in touch with small business, had my first sale in small business, and now I'm helping our partners sell to small businesses. But if you're not sure exactly how to sell to small business, or where to go, or what to do, or which sales play to use, we're also launching today the Small Business Partner Package. If you go over to our SMB booth in the Expo Hall, you'll also be able to get more information about this package, the website, and information on that as well. Inside this package, it's kind of a one-stop shop of what you can use to sell to SMBs. Now, if you remember, we said you need a focused team, you need to make sure you have the delivery, we need to incentivize our sellers, but what do we sell? We're going to be able to bring to you the pre-packaged solutions that we have found that SMBs are buying, and how to scale marketing campaigns. This is a different motion. This is a digital motion. This is not a 1 to 5 sit-down dinner. Right? These are smaller customers. Right? These are one-to-many events, one-to-many webinars, digital scale marketing, things like that. And that's all in this package as well. And the third thing that we'll find here are industry-focused insights. And why insights? Right? We talked a little bit about how we're verticalizing AWS. So when you go through your customer base and who you want to also sell to, and you say, here's the industries I'm focused on, now you can see what those industries are buying, what their pain points are, how to sell to them, and then you can tie in the insights with the packaged solutions through a marketing campaign and then get those customers coming around. So we introduced you to bringing those customers to AWS, introducing them to AWS, right? Talking about their pain points, and et cetera. But now we want to talk about that first project, right? Implementing and migrating that workload, right? Getting it off the ground, proving that you, the partner, are the trusted advisor, earning the trust of the customer. And part of earning that trust, it's very important that we identify the blockers and challenges and help resolve. By bringing to a customer and saying, hey, we thought this was going to go smooth, but we found this bump in the road, they want to hear that. They know it's not all going to be an easy way to get to the cloud. And then you work together with AWS, with the customer, and get over those challenges. And then we also want to assess what's going on now and what's going to happen in the future. In a little bit in the presentation, we're going to talk about the delivery and the growth. But this is a great time to talk to the customer about, we're doing this here today, you, Mr. Customer, want to do this, and here's what the vision looks like over the next 12, 24, 36 months. Really talking to them about being able to optimize their workloads and moving into the future, keeping up with that pace of innovation. And many times, to Christine's point earlier, AI is in their head. They're thinking of AI, but their data might not be ready for AI. And this first project is a great place to start and say, we understand you want to get to the generative AI, but let's start here. Here's the plan, and let's work through it there. And you're not at it alone. We've got programs, we've got resources to help you do this. There's the Customer Engagement Incentive, which I'll be speaking about in just a few moments. Our Migration Acceleration Program, otherwise known as MAP, and also our Workload Migration Program, WMP. There's also, we recently also launched our partner collaboration channels in AWS Partner Central. Now you can use Slack Connect to real-time collaborate with AWS and partners to get these jobs done. Again, we're doing this together. You're definitely not alone here. So let's talk a little bit about the Customer Engagement Incentive. The Customer Engagement Incentive is rewarding our partners for acquiring early-stage customers. We also call them greenfield, and helping them accelerate that first project to the cloud. We want to be able to help you get these customers to the cloud, and we know it's not easy with a new customer. we know it takes a longer time and it costs more money to get a new customer than to sell to an existing customer. But these new customers can become your existing customers. And once they're your existing customers, now you're building a flywheel that says, I get the new customer, I get them on board, now they're an existing customer, I grow the customer, they're my customer, I go back and get more customers, and then your customer count goes up and up and up. Now within the customer engagement incentive, there is the scope, launch, and grow. And along the path, we have cash incentives for scope and launch, and for grow, we have additional discounts for our solution providers and distributors. When we scope, it goes all the way to that initial meeting. Now I know before the initial meeting, you probably had 18 phone calls and a bunch of back and forth emails, but now we got that initial meeting. So we're there. Let's talk to the customer, let's figure out what they want to do, and let's get a statement of work written up, in the next couple of weeks. Once we scope that customer and we take it to business validation through through ACE, we can get compensated with cash through that for $1,000 cash. Once we then launch, now we did the project, they signed the statement of work, we've put it into the cloud, and billing has begun. Now you can get an additional up to $5,000 for that. So now for the scoping and launching, we're helping you offset that cost, giving you $6,000 cash. And if that's not enough, as we now grow that customer and they expand their AWS footprint over the next 24 months for our channel partners, you get additional percentage on your resale. Sorry about that. So we got the first workload. Awesome. They trust us. Great. Let's get them to really start migrating that infrastructure to the cloud. Let's get them to start modernizing. Now, we talked about competencies here before. By show of hands, how many of you have the migration competency? Good show of hands. And how many of you are working towards the migration competency? Another good show of hands. So I started at AWS in 2018, and I was a partner sales manager. And back then, we were really going on the endeavor of working with partners to work with our customers and get them to the cloud. We're still doing that today, but we didn't have as many migration competency partners as we did today. So we worked together. We helped the partner identify, are you, partner, ready to be a migration competency partner? Do you have the right certifications? Do you have the right people on staff? Can you handle the workload once you sell the deal? And that goes all the way back to the beginning of the conversation of, do we have the right teams in place? So CEI is great for starting small, but as we go further, we're going to migrate and we're going to modernize. And consulting partners or services partners and our ISVs or technology partners, we have programs for both of you to do that. On the consulting services partners side of the house, we have the Migration Acceleration Program, otherwise known as MAP. And for ISVs, we have the Workload Migration Program, WMP. Let's look a little bit further of what's new. So, MAP and WMP had new launches in 2024. And we're really trying to enable our partners to support our customers' migration and modernization needs. This year, we introduced the MAP incentives for VMware, modernization, SAP, and greenfield customers. This is additional incentives on top of what we were doing because we listened to you, our partners. We heard that we need more to get these deals across the board. So we're listening, we're working together, and we're growing. And we're not changing to a different program. We're augmenting, we're expanding on our existing programs. So you already know the feel, you know what to do. Now you get a little bit more along the way. We've also expanded the VMware incentive to include managed services and bundled managed services with VMware modernization proposals. On top of that, we've launched the Amazon Elastic VMware Service, or EVS, to run VMware-based workloads alongside other applications in AWS. So all of those things in the context there, if you see the numbers on the board, right? We're simplifying the funding structure. Again, we're putting all of this through our MAP and our WMP program. We're not saying here's another program here, here, and here. We're expanding that existing funding support, right? So we're really trying to listen to you, meet you where you are, and get there together. We added the strategic initiatives, as we said before, additional workload migration use cases, and there's also now even a workload migration program annual recurring revenue calculator, so you can know and see in the future what that year is going to hold. So we talked about the first project, and we talked about earning trust with the customer. And I really love this use case of Finnair migration with our partner NordCloud. And why I love this is this started out as a small assessment and migration of their Windows workloads. They used our Windows optimization and licensing assessment, otherwise known as OLA. And as they went through this a little bit further, they were assessing everything that they had. And in the middle of this, two things happened. COVID hit, and nobody was flying, right? There was no flights anymore. So NordCloud took this opportunity with AWS to say, hey, we need to do this faster. It's not just the small workload that we need to do now. We want to do a full-on migration and get to the cloud as fast as possible. Introducing the Migration Acceleration Program, leveraging MAP funding and the managed cloud migration process. NordCloud was able to help Finnair migrate over 70 applications from 400 servers. And the quote on the board, I feel, is a powerful one. The migration result was a wonderful surprise. People didn't think the move from the cloud, the move could be executed in such a short time frame, especially given constraints around coronavirus. This is a great story of a company working with an AWS partner, understanding where they are and what could happen. Hitting a roadblock, hitting a challenge, two challenges. Not only did COVID happen, the airlines weren't flying anymore. Working with the partner and AWS, successful migration, and more growth to come in the future.
Absolutely. I love that example, especially because we see our partners that really understand how to leverage our AWS programs and tools can help them accelerate on their own growth path. And that's a great example of NordCloud working with AWS. As Dave mentioned, as we head into the next phase of that customer journey, the delivery, what's really important is we've built up that customer relationship. We started small with that first project. In the Finnair example, it was just an OLA and a licensing assessment to take a look at costs in the customer's environment. But it quickly turned into a deliver project. Here, we like to focus on the operations and impact assessment. We want to make sure we're hitting all the business objectives that the customer had. Then we're working on optimizing, and what's critical in this phase is that we're already starting to look ahead with the customer to say not only are we ensuring a smooth delivery of this project, but now that we've gotten this project under our belt, what other business objectives does the customer have? How can we optimize infrastructure usage in the cloud to help the customer fund their next set of innovative projects? And we see partners who are really successful starting to think this way from very early in that customer engagement. It's also a good time to be talking to that customer about a renewal plan and a management plan. So even if you're engaged primarily on the professional services side or just for one workload of your ISV solution, help the customer be thinking about the long-term growth of that workload and of the business objectives that they're trying to achieve there. So we can already start to talk about, okay, now that we've launched this, who's going to manage it on an ongoing basis? And that's where we're really excited about our AWS Managed Service Provider program and some of the new benefits we're introducing there. In fact, by 2026, IDC projects that managed service providers, or MSPs, will manage 65% of the total public cloud spending, representing $443 billion of addressable opportunity. Customers are seeing the value of cloud and of modernizing their IT projects, but it comes with overhead. And increasingly, they're really excited about leveraging partners to help take that lift of managing ongoing infrastructure and helping them implement proactive security and controls into their environment so that the customer can focus on what they do best and the next set of innovation for their customers. Including even our customers that are primarily buying SaaS and ISV applications, they're increasingly telling us that, hey, we're buying 40, 50, maybe even 100 different ISV applications. So who in your APN network can help us manage across our portfolio of ISVs we've engaged in, and then also helping us build synergies with AWS native services and the ISVs built on AWS. So here again is a huge opportunity for partners who play together and partners who have that long-term vision in helping our customers. So to help recognize our MSPs and provide more benefits for partners seeking to build their AWS managed services practice, earlier this year, we launched a few new benefits to our program. On the build side, we launched MSP Build Essentials and Build Workshops. The Essentials is again that one-stop shop and place for self-service enablement materials to help guide you on MSP best practices with AWS, whereas the workshops provide more of a customized one-on-one discussion to help you take your managed services practice to the next level. We also provide discounts and extended free trials for our MSPs to offer to their end customers. On the go-to-market side, we provide additional market development funding and enable our MSP partners to use our AWS Rapid Ramp credits to extend those to especially SMB customers and help that customer make that first purchase decision. And finally, we are enabling new badging and new featuring of our MSP partners in places where we go to market, including in our AWS Marketplace. I'm really excited to debut our latest benefit, which is our Migration Acceleration Program for MSP partners. In this program, we know that many of our MSPs are often working with a smaller customer who's seeking their help in managing the ongoing infrastructure. But migrating that small customer can still be resource intensive, even if you're not at the size of ARR to qualify for the Migration Acceleration Program. So for MSPs who have a strong ability of decision making in their end customer environment, maybe you're managing a colo for multiple customers, or you're already managing the IT environment of multiple customers, we offer the ability for you to bundle multiple customer migrations and in aggregate qualify for a larger amount of funding. That way, you can still apply this funding to and break it down to your small customers so that they're not paying for the migration. This has been really well received by our MSPs because over 70% of customers of our MSPs have an ARR below 100,000 when we're doing that initial migration, which means they're not qualifying on their own for the Migration Acceleration Program. So we're really excited to broaden this benefit and really look forward to your feedback. I wanted to highlight one success story in this space as well. The key here is building that customer relationship and setting yourself up as a customer advisor for the long term, including helping that customer optimize and bring security into their current environment. So here we have the customer Storyblocks, who reached out to Mission Cloud for help with cost optimization. Mission was able to offer both cost optimization and a managed service to say, we'll implement proactive controls into your environment to help you get ahead of cost management, but also to enable you to plan innovation and increase your AWS footprint by bringing new workloads to the cloud within the same IT budget. So I love this story of growth because Mission was able to bring cost savings of 7% to Storyblocks while also growing their IT environment of 33%. So it's really that, how do we introduce and help that customer innovate and deliver for their end customers, both by optimizing and making sure we have a strong delivery on AWS, and then by having that long-term growth strategy in place. Another great point here for partners that work really closely with AWS is that we want to get the estimation and the delivery right on the project. So we love when partners are able to estimate the ARR correctly because we're able to apply the right funding programs. And customers really like having that line of sight into spend and into design of the project. So really look forward to working closely with you on how do we build these calculators into your go-to-market plans and make sure we're coming in right at the sweet spot and giving that customer the predictability along this journey. Once we've delivered, it's time to think about growth with the customer, and that includes innovating in their business model. We see some of our most successful partners here not approach this necessarily as a cross-sell or upsell, but actually as an opportunity to build a deeper relationship with the customer. So did you start out in one line of business, and maybe now there's an opportunity to talk more with their IT department? Or did you start in IT and there's an opportunity with one of their lines of business or in the marketing department that we should be talking more? Are we in with the C-suite talking about their overall business growth objectives? And then how do we work backwards from those objectives to find the right technology solutions to help them accelerate? And of course, building in that ongoing management. Here is a great opportunity for partners to be leveraging our CEI Grow funding that Dave spoke about, as well as our AWS Marketplace to identify cross-partner solutions to bring to those customers, and our new Business Outcomes Accelerator program. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about those. So our AWS Marketplace. How many here sell on our AWS Marketplace today? I love it. It's great. We see so many benefits for our customers. Not only is there a broad selection of products from all of you on our marketplace today, but we offer our customers fast procurement with flexible pricing and terms, and easy, fast, and secure deployment, along with centralized governance and controls. So we get overwhelmingly positive customer feedback, really enjoying that once they've set up their procurement in AWS Marketplace, it is so much simpler and easier for them to procure additional solutions. And again, when we see large enterprises using on average over 80 different applications in their environment, and SMBs using over 30 applications in their environment, that easy procurement and renewals process is critical. And partners who can help customers manage across such a diverse portfolio have a great opportunity for really earning that customer trust for the long term. So really think about how, if you're an ISV, you're building out that channel side. And for channel partners, are you co-selling and working with a number of ISVs that complement your services and solutions to help you broach more of that customer environment and uncover bigger growth opportunities? And do consider AWS Marketplace as a great opportunity to list those solutions. For ISVs, we see benefits like 50% faster deal closure. And for channel partners, a recent study by Forrester found that our channel partners realized 234% ROI when selling their services on our marketplace, and 40% faster sales cycles. So once you have identified those next solutions to bring into the customer environment, consider leveraging AWS Marketplace for that faster and easier procurement cycle. We've gotten a lot of requests over the last couple of years for partners on how to meet each other. I mentioned up front that our broad and diverse partner network is really a superpower for us and for all of you. And so we were really excited earlier this year to launch the Business Outcomes Accelerator program, which provides matchmaking events between partners focused on common industries or use cases. It provides build incentives. So once you've met each other, if you identify a new solution that you're looking to build together, we can help you with funding, materials, technical support. And then go-to-market acceleration, so helping you bring that joint solution to market, often through our marketplace, also getting attention inside of our sales teams, and then helping promote it to end customers as well. So we're really excited to bring this program, and I hope you all take advantage of it. We're also introducing more and more opportunities for partners to find each other in Partner Central, so stay tuned to the announcements this week.
Thanks, Christine. We started today talking about introducing our customers to AWS, finding that first project, delivering on that project, and growing that customer. And we know when AWS sells with partners, the deals close faster and there's a higher annual recurring revenue. And partners that co-sell with AWS report 51% higher average revenue growth based on a Canalys study. And 65% of them reported higher close rates and 54% larger deals. This is truly working together with AWS, utilizing the programs that we have at hand, giving us your true feedback so we can enhance and develop those programs so we can go after these new customers together. We can deliver to those customers, we can grow those customers as well. I can't believe 45 minutes has already passed by with you all. I appreciate you all coming, and a few calls to action. Prepare with a new customer engagement partner business plan. Again, you can find this on Partner Central. Determine the priority points of entry. For SMB, you can find this in the Launchpad as well. Differentiate your business with competencies. It was so nice to see all the hands raised of the people that have competency, and really great to see the people that are going after that first competency. We know it's hard, but you'll get there. And then build that customer trust through managed services and business outcome solutions. We'd really like to thank you for your time. We saved some time at the end. After we come off the stage for the presentation, we'd love to take your questions in person up here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.